Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. Purchase with pace and space in a dealership tailored to your needs. From home buying to providing that personal touch. Contact the 2020 Satisfaction Award winner Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. 888-776-5123. That's 888-776-5123. Or visit them at 15601 Pines Boulevard in Pembroke Pines.
For over 16 years, EJDconstruction.com has provided South Florida residents quality craftsmanship, accurate project management, and exceptional service. That's why EJDconstruction.com is an A-rated member of Angie's List and the Better Business Bureau. When you're looking for the right custom home builder for additions or home remodeling, please call my friend Eric at 305-433-4843. That's 305-433-4843 for EJDconstruction.com.
If you're a Miami sports fan, then there's only one store to go to, and that's Caneswear at Miami Fanwear in Davie. They're your one-stop shop for all your inner Miami CFs, Canes, Dolphins, Panthers, and Marlins merchandise. They have hats, t-shirts, game day jerseys, and so much more. Located at 2511 South University Drive in Davie, and open 24/7 online at caneswear.com or innermiamiwear.com. Call them at 954-835-5597. Caneswear, the spot where inner Miami and all Miami sports fans shop.
WrestleMania weekend. Of course, this is Saturday. Last night was SmackDown. I am Sean Stanley, the host of Squared Circle Digest, and today joined by Frankie Fresco and Chad Shobe. You'll see them on the screens. I'm probably going to point the wrong way here. It's that way. Whatever. Hold on a minute. I'm even booted and suited here. I got my suit on, ready for WrestleMania. So let's talk about what has happened so far. We'll keep it to WWE here at the beginning. Ring of Honor had their Super Card of Honor last night as well. WWE SmackDown. Don't know if you guys watched it at all. So if you didn't, that's fine as well. So you had SmackDown, which led into the Hall of Fame. Did you guys watch any of the Hall of Fame induction ceremony?
I saw clips of it.
I saw all of it.
You saw all of it, Frank. Your thoughts on what your thoughts of it? I'm going to go last because I probably got a very heavy thought on what happened there. But go ahead.
Well, the Hall of Fame, I always like it. This is the first time I actually watched the actual whole episode. What I liked the most, in my opinion, was who got inducted. I thought all of them deserved to be inducted. I mean, the Great Moolah was freaking awesome. I love that. And I also did like the little twist that they did at the end with Rey Mysterio and his son. So with Dominic. So that was kind of cool at the end when he went ahead and he was like, when he came in and walked in, and then he was shaking everybody's hand, and then you see Dominic just sitting there, just going ahead and ignoring him along with Rhea Ripley and Damian Priest. And then all of a sudden, like when he was about to start his whole speech, he went ahead and started saying, and they got up and they just walked out. I honestly thought that they were going to do something even more, but I'm glad they did it because it is Rey Mysterio's moment, so you don't want to knock Rey Mysterio moments out. But besides that, I mean, I think it was a really good, overall in general, good show. And everybody spoke really well. I really enjoyed it. It was fun. It was good.
Chad, the clips that you saw, what were your takeaways?
Well, most of the clips I saw were the Dom and Mysterio thing because they're obviously trying to build that up.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought it was good. Of course, the little, you could tell Dom was still in character for it. You know what I mean? Which I liked, and I think it's leading up to what should be a good WrestleMania. But yeah, those were most of the clips that I saw. So
9 out of 10 dentists like everything, right? I'm that one dentist that didn't like. I did not like the fact that they threw the Dom Mysterio in there to me, just leave him in the back. And again, this is where I was kind of off of them putting Mysterio in as an active wrestler because I knew they were building up to Dom against Rey at WrestleMania. It surprised me that Rey was going in this year, but I just the Hall of Fame has always been about presentation, honoring them, and remembering the past and what they've done for the business. And I thought it to me, and again, I think they did it in a good way because again, nothing really happened. It was just like you thought, like, oh, okay, here we go. I was so happy that they didn't do anything during the ceremony because honestly, at first I was like, hopefully they don't do anything. Then they did something, and I was like, don't let this go any further, please. Don't let this go any further than what it is right now. Because again, to me, it's like, you go to the NFL Hall of Fame and they're inducting a Bill and a Dolphin walks up with a bat and hits him in the back of the leg, because of rivalry. It's just one of those things where, to me, it's a ceremony to, reflect and honor for what you've done. And I just felt that it kind of felt cheap because it was just like, oh, this is a cheap little pop or a cheap little, that they're going to get from it. So, but all in all, man, I love the Great Muta. Stacy Keibler, legs for days. Andy Kaufman is the celebrity. Tim White got the Warrior Award. So, I thought all in all, it was great. And again, I like that they only did, 4 or 5. I remember one year they did like 8 or 9 and it went to like 2:00 in the morning. So I thought that was pretty damn good there on their part there. That was just my own little, and again, that's probably my get off my lawn moment, the old guy there,
Well, I thought.
I have a quick question, Sean. They didn't they used to do the Hall of Fame the same day or like in the morning of the WrestleMania? Was it always the day before?
No, it used to be always the day, but you remember it used to be Saturday. What would be SmackDown Friday, Hall of Fame Saturday, WrestleMania Sunday. When they combined it, I believe one year they might have done it the morning on Saturday. But lately what they've been doing is what you saw last night, SmackDown, Hall of Fame, NXT in the afternoon, which was morning over there, leading into what we see there. But I mean, all in all, I think it, again, it's a Hall of Fame. They're honoring, but I was just hoping that they wouldn't do that. But go ahead, Chad. You had something.
No, I was gonna say there was a couple years too before they added it Saturday and Sunday where they had NXT on Saturday night, which was pretty cool.
Yeah.
No, I dug it. I thought it was just a little different because usually the ceremony is very straightforward, honoring and stuff like that. So I thought it was kind of a cool way to make it a little interesting for the fans, to kind of build that up. I can see your point as well, Sean, and I can imagine as Dom, as they're inducting his dad in, like he has to go and work, you know what I mean? Instead of being able to enjoy the moment for his dad, so I can understand that standpoint as they're trying to induct him in as an active wrestler, Sean. So I think that's a good call out on you. So, but overall, like from the clips I saw, I guess I haven't seen it in whole yet.
It was great. I mean, Conan in bringing him in,
amazing.
And I saw that. Yeah,
amazing. The whole minute, and things that he did there. So, and again, now tonight, let's go ahead and let's jump into tonight.
Yeah, well, bringing out Conan and then also reintroducing the LWO. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Before one last thing on the Hall of Fame, I like the fact that they had also Ric Flair introduce the Great Muta, and then also they had Tori Wilson for Stacy. So I thought that was cool as well.
Yeah, I know they used to allow, I mean, to a point, they allow the person being inducted to choose who they want. So I believe, I know, Mick was like, I was surprised. I mean, but you saw what, Stacy, what Mick meant to Stacy. So you see there, and again, I think there was some, things to why, possibly Muda probably would have preferred maybe Sting being the one to induct them in, but there's probably some things going in there that probably couldn't allow that to happen. So Flair would be the fallback. I was surprised, honestly, that they allowed Flair the open mic with just, because sometimes he just goes.
He does, yeah.
He just goes and does whatever he wants to do. And what are they going to do at that point? I mean, other than tackle him, which that's happened at Hall of Fames as well. This Saturday. Let's get started. First match of the night is going to be, which we already know, this has been announced. The first match to start WrestleMania is going to be John Cena versus Austin Theory. The last match to end night 2 of WrestleMania is going to be Roman Reigns versus Cody Rhodes. Still interesting to figure out who's going to close night 1, because I thought it was a slam dunk. I thought it was going to be Rhea Ripley against Charlotte Flair was going to be the main event tonight. Now there's a lot of stuff going in because of the way the bloodline angle went. It may be the tag team championship match closing out, WrestleMania night 1. We'll see what happens. I think Rhea Ripley deserves that spot with everything that she's done, but I also would understand if it was the Usos. But we're going to try to go through this we're not going to go through it in order for night 1 or night 2. We will end with our pick for the heavyweight championship, of course, but we'll get started. The United States Championship, Austin Theory, John Cena. We know what has happened here. He called out Cena, talked a lot of talk. Cena turned him down and then told him the match isn't for you. It's for the fans, because the fans wanted the match. Your guys thought Austin Theory, John Cena starting off WrestleMania. Frankie, we'll start with you.
I am not a big fan of Austin Theory. I don't like him. He's annoying. I hate the fact that they keep pushing him. But, that's Vince's man. I mean, he's always liked him. It looks like when Vince left for a minute, it looked like they were going to kind of like slow him down, because he started losing periodically. But then it looks like Triple H got him back and said, hey, let's bring him back. And, all his victories and all that stuff. So, I mean, for me, it would be difficult to see Austin Theory win. But I just don't see John Cena going full time in WWE anymore. So that's kind of like where I think they're going to go with this, where they're going to just go and say, hey, we're going to keep with Theory instead of Cena.
Chad?
I kind of agree with him on that. John's obviously doing a lot. I definitely think it's more of like, we're going to get Theory over type of match, I don't necessarily hate Theory. I don't know. I think he plays a good heel. He's annoying. He's doing his job, Frankie, by making you think he's annoying and hate him, But yeah, I mean, I kind of like the matchup because as they kind of push the storyline, how similar like their starts, how similar in wrestling they are, and kind of like they kind of have like the same look and build. So I don't mind it. I think it's actually going to be a good way to open up WrestleMania because of course we know John Cena is going to go out there and perform, and I think Theory is going to go out there and he, in his mindset, I think he's going to be like, all right, they're going to put me first, but I'm going to try to steal the show. So I think this might be one of those under, the radar matches for some people. And I think it might be an actual stronger opener than what people are going to think it's going to be. Because I think Cena's going to, of course, come out and put on the show for the fans because that's what they want to see. And I think Theory's going to try to go ahead and kill the show and be that guy to be like, I'm the one that had the best match, tonight. That I think that might be his mindset. But of course, as Sean says, we got that women's match coming up and then the tag team match, which we all know those, it's going to be a great card, I think, tonight.
Yeah, I think this is going to be the pace setter. I think that's what they want to do. They want to get it out to a good pace. It's not going to overwhelm everything because it's going to be a good wrestling match. Neither going to go and do, 500 flips and outshine and jump off the top of the SoFi Center or anything like that. I like what they've done with Theory. They've changed him from the nonchalant, like kind of like airhead kind of guy to where now he's at least showing some emotion. He's showing, he's tired of being stood on. I'm tired of being stepped on. I'm going to prove myself. Again, however you want to look at how the character has progressed, to me, at least they've given him an edge. Before he didn't even have that, and no pun intended there on edge or anything. But I mean, as far as you just didn't know about the character. He was just kind of there. He's kind of mingling, like you said. He was just there to annoy you. He's like that little gnat. And he just kept flying, and you're kicking your head, and like he leaves for a minute, and he comes back, and damn it, But now, at least now, to me, he has at least solidified what the U.S. Championship was. And he's kind of bringing that back. The same thing when we'll talk a little bit later about Gunther with the Intercontinental title. So I think what he's doing with the U.S. title now is amazing. So now, excuse me there. Your prediction for this match, and we'll start with Chad since I started with Frankie last time. Chad, your prediction, John Cena, Austin Theory.
Austin Theory. Definitely, Cena's got to put him over. It's good, he's the guy that's here for the long haul right now, right? So we know that he can keep that tradition of the American title going, Sean. So I'm going Theory.
All right, you got Theory, Frankie. What you say?
I think there's a reason why they put this fight as the first fight, not only to kind of get the ball rolling, but I think WWE did not want the first night to end with Austin Theory winning, because the crowd would be upset. So I think that's the reason why they put it as the first fight. Austin Theory is going to win, but the crowd will eventually get over it because there's so many more matches afterwards. That's my prediction.
All right. And now, you know what? All the way up until you guys started talking, I'm thinking Austin Theory. But you know what I just thought about? What always happens the night after WrestleMania? Raw. That Raw is crazy. So why couldn't Cena win tonight and then have to defend the title on Monday against a debuting NXT star, possibly Braun Breaker, since he just lost his title? The U.S. Open Challenge is laid out. The NXT star debuts, drops the title, and now we've had a transformation, and Austin Theory can start chasing it again.
What what?
Go with John Cena wins the first match at WrestleMania.
And Sean, that's why you're like the wrestling mastermind, bro.
And and you know what? You put it all together, and me and Chad were like, "Hey, this is what we got." I even threw a little story, a background behind this, but your story makes more sense than mine.
No, absolutely, Sean.
I was just thinking of it as you guys were talking. I'm like sitting here going, it'd be interesting to see. And then also, what the other funny part about this is, and you know what I just thought about? And maybe I'm wrong here. There's one man that said he's going to be at WrestleMania but doesn't have an opponent yet. What if Austin Theory beats John Cena and then Bobby Lashley comes out to win back the U.S. title
on Monday?
That he won. No, even tonight.
Tonight? Oh, okay.
Nah, I don't see him winning it tonight. Unless he had like Money in the Bank or something like that, but I don't see him just jumping in and getting a fight.
He threw out the open challenge, and I don't know what that means, so I don't know if somebody else is going to come in there and see. But
and Sean, you might have a point. Maybe Theory, after he's celebrating, is all hyped up, and he's like, "Who else wants some open challenge?"
And then Mike says, "Who's next?"
Yeah.
It's not Goldberg. It's not Goldberg, by the way. We don't want Goldberg. If it's who's next and Goldberg shows up, I may not watch the rest of WrestleMania. We may have to switch out.
No, man, we love Goldberg, man.
Oh my goodness, this guy. All right, let's go with the. Let's move on. I don't want to hit that match. I'm gonna switch it up a little bit on you guys, okay? Because in the chat they're asking about the thoughts on Braun Strowman Ricochet versus Street Profits versus Alpha Academy versus Viking Raiders. That's the men's showcase match. So we'll start with you, Chad. Your thought on the 4 teams, and this is Cap for Life was asking about this match on there as well.
I'm very intrigued. I mean, there's a lot of guys in this, right? And a lot of different types of wrestlers and styles. So I think the teams that they put together for this, they hit on all of them, right? Because they're all teams that, people kind of like and kind of root for, and they might, be pinning fans against other teams, I guess. But no, I think, I don't know. It's just a lot of tag there. And I wonder how long that match is going to like be, I just don't want it to be some like just brutal, man fest, everyone beating each other up outside the ring and someone just takes advantage. I don't know. I think this is the one match I might be the least interested in, if that makes sense. Of course,
I'm looking at the card right now, and if any match loses time, it's probably going to be this match.
One, right? And you think it's got to be a quick one, man. And so, I mean, not the most exciting match on the card. I think there, and no stakes really either, right? We don't have anything, on the table, so to speak. So, I mean, I guess this is going to be that filler match. I guess that's, just going to be kind of fill time until we get ready. And this is probably going to be the match that they use to kind of calm everyone down, like, all hyped up or something, and then kind of calm everyone down and build up the next match, following it.
Frankie?
I agree. I think this is a filler match. I'm curious to see when they're going to put this match. Maybe I would say they probably would put it like maybe the third or the fourth match just to get the people a break. As far as the tag team, I mean, the Street Profits, where they are at. Montez, they're pushing Montez and they want him to be a singles wrestler. So that's what we get with the Street Profits. When it comes to the Alpha Academy, the whole modeling thing is kind of the storyline that they're going with that. So don't get me wrong, they're my favorites. That's usually who I would go for. That they're my favorite tag team right now. Because of Chad Gable. I love Chad Gable. Braun Strowman and Ricochet. I've never been a fan of Ricochet, man. I don't know why. Ricochet for me is like,
wow, okay.
He's like, I'm sorry to say this, but I think for me he's boring. And I've never been a fan of him. I mean, it's maybe it's because when he was the Intercontinental Champion, they really didn't push him and they didn't do anything for him.
They didn't do many favors with that belt.
So I kind of don't have that much to say about that tag team. I think they're there. And then the Viking Raiders, they're the solid ones in this.
Oh yeah, bro.
So
for sure.
I'm not gonna say right now who I'm going for, but you kind of could read between the lines of who I'm leaning for in this particular one.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I mean, I know the reason they put Braun Strowman and Ricochet together was because of the fallout from the Saudi stuff when they fought overseas, and Braun Strowman says, "See, big guys don't have to do all the flippy flip stuff." So, kind of as a punishment, as they were like, "Okay, well then you're teaming with the flippy flip guy," and that's why they had Ricochet verse him in the first round of can't remember if it was the first round of the contenders for the Intercontinental title match or the Intercontinental title tournament, but he was the first opponent for Braun Strowman, and Ricochet went over on him because they had the Imperium attack Strowman and actually put Ricochet over, and then they formed a tag team where they're at now. The interesting thing that I see is that Imperium isn't on this, honestly. If you want to showcase a tag team, to me, you've got the Street Profits, which, as Frankie pointed out, you're trying to push Montez Ford to the moon. You've got Alpha Academy, which you've already kind of set up a breakup with Otis going with the Maximum Male Models. So I think when you look at this match, you're looking at Braun Strowman and Ricochet or the Viking Raiders because they're the only two that look like they're going to stay together as a tag team in the long term now. But again, this is a men's showcase match. Could it just be to showcase Montez Ford? He takes over and wrecks house and, looks like the superstar and gets the big win for his team. And then now you start elevating him that way. It's very interesting to see how they want to lay this match out because, again, they say it's a men's showcase. They don't say it's a tag team showcase. It's a men's showcase match. So is this their chance to show what Montez Ford can do? If it's a tag team now, I think it leans more toward Viking Raiders, Braun Strowman, and Ricochet. But we'll have to see. So now we're going to get predictions. I think I started with Chad the first time. So, Frankie, you get to choose this one first.
I think Nate G and Cap for Life agree with me, and I think the Viking Raiders will win this one.
Okay. Chad?
I'm gonna take a different stance just to change it up, but I'm kind of with Sean. I think maybe they kind of push Braun and Ricochet, and that's kind of the two opposite styles of wrestling. Braun is the strong man, and Ricochet is the high flyer, and it might be more punishment for Braun, and they just push them, and then they eventually hold the titles, and then become some love team and get put over. But no, that's just far fetched. But just to change it up, I'm gonna go Braun and Ricochet.
All right, and I'm going to go with the Street Profits. I think Montez Ford, this is a shining moment, the grandest stage of all. And then I think maybe this starts him. And then also maybe, and again, they've always already said on a lot of things back, other things where they would never fight each other. So I'm not sure how they would ending up the partnership, but I think this is where you start seeing the rift there. Real quick, jump in. I saw somebody talking about Randy Orton. Randy Orton is in LA. But he's there really to start the ball rolling on coming back. Supposedly he's not ready to come back yet, but this is to get all the stuff and meet with them and kind of get them back into the thing and look at merchandise, pitch creative, and different things like that. But he is in LA. So, but again, it is pro wrestling. I'm not saying that he's not there to come out or anything else, but that's what's being reported. That he is there, but it's more to start getting him ready to start getting back into the fold. Let's go ahead and let's see what we got here. Let's jump into the Becky Lynch, Lita, Trish Stratus versus Damage Control. We'll jump into this one now. I'll get this one started with that. I love what Damage Control did when they came back. They were that heel group. I thought that, that the women's division needed the real heel group, not a Ronda Rousey, Shayna Baszler. We're going to snap your arm because we can type thing. They were the slimy, the snarky, Bayley doing her thing, Io and Dakota doing their thing. And I loved, where they got to. And I love how this has led up to what it has done with Becky coming back, and then Lita, and of course Trish Stratus returning. That being said, I don't expect much in this match. I'd hate to say it. I think you're going to get your Lita moonsault. You're going to get your Trish Stratusfaction. You're going to get everything that you want to be happy, but I don't think that you're going to get anything above. I don't know if you're going to get that WrestleMania moment in this match. So that's my thoughts on it. Chad, you're up.
Yeah, I'm with you there too. I think this is more or less kind of the crowd pleasers, getting Lita out there and Trish, and kind of, a little bit of nostalgia for, someone probably, it looks like me and Frankie we grew up in that, Attitude Era. So, a little nostalgia for us guys here. I don't think it's going to be anything over the top, but, once again, with who's in the match, I think they're going to put on a show, and I think they're going to, this is going to be, I think this will be more entertaining than that, showcase that we're going to see with the men's. I think this will probably be, a little more fun match because you're going to get the stuff that you want to see, I guess, to your point, Sean, seeing the moonsault and stuff like that.
Frankie, you're up.
This match for me feels like it's like, how we just finished speaking about the Braun Strowman Ricochet one? I think this one's just a little bit over that fight. Like it's another fill-in fight. And usually Becky Lynch, she would have such a bigger role, but just tagging her with Lita and Trish, it's nice. I like Trish. I like Lita. I wasn't a big fan of them winning the tag team belts, but if they won them, I thought they were going to do something much more bigger than that, than doing just a triple 3-on-3 with Damage Control. Damage Control, I like. I think Bayley has done an amazing job with that group, and she's a great heel. So it's a good fight. It's a decent fight, but another one that kind of just, I'll look at it and be like, whoever wins.
And speaking of winners, I'm going with, of course, Trish, Lita, and Becky in this, just because I don't think that Damage Control needs the win. This is that fun match to where it honestly, I don't know if either team wins or loses. it doesn't affect the other team. You know what I'm saying? So I'm going to go with Becky. I almost said Becky Edge and Lita. Becky Lita and Trish Stratus in this one for the win. Frankie, you're up.
I agree, man. I don't see how Trish and Lita, them coming back, lose in WrestleMania. So I got them winning. I see Damage Control taking that big L.
And I hate to just tag on, the buzz for you guys, but yeah, I feel the same way. There's no way you bring them back for this, and of course, have them go out in flames. So I think, they take this, and still Damage Control will still be what they are, and continue to move forward. So it's not going to hurt them in any way, as Sean said. So it doesn't matter really who wins; it's not going to hurt them. But yeah, we're seeing Lita and Trish get one more W under their belts.
All right, and then looking at the chat real quick because I don't want to get too far there. Cat for Life says Imperium needs to speak more English in order for me to take them seriously. Ray Sosa, what's up? Let's see.
Go Owls.
All right, is it?
Go Owls. Go Owls. For Ray.
Yes, go Owls.
Oh, yeah.
Go Owls. Okay, actually, they tip off in about 30 minutes.
Yeah.
And then everybody just going on with some of the stuff that we're talking there. If you want a question, just throw it in there. We'll try to answer your question. I'm trying to keep up with the chat, but we got a lot of matches to get to. The next match, we talked about it earlier from the Hall of Fame. Dom Mysterio versus Rey Mysterio. Frankie, I'm going to give you the honor of going first and talking about this one. Go ahead.
You know that this is one of my favorite fights. This I am looking a lot into because they just been selling this fight for so long. Yesterday with the Hall of Fame, it was so good. Oh man, I'm very intrigued to see what they're gonna do. Now, granted, we all kind of know where the story is gonna go, but when we make our predictions, I'm gonna tell you what I think is gonna happen, and I think it's gonna shock. It might be a bold prediction, but I'm gonna surprise you. And this is what I think WWE is gonna do with the loser of that fight.
Okay, all right. Go ahead, Chad.
Super excited for this. They've been building this up for how long now, right? With everything that's been going on. I think this is also a pretty cool moment for Rey and Dom as well, to share a stage together at WrestleMania, father and son. So I'm super excited, and I think it's going to deliver. I think the fans are going to be happy at the end of the day. I'm interested to see what Frankie thinks about this now. He's Sean, so I'm going to keep it short, but I'm super excited to see this match. They've done a great job building it up.
Now, here's the interesting part. You know what WrestleMania is known for?
Surprises?
Surprises and entrances, right? Your surprises and your entrances. And a lot's been made about a possible entrance of Dom Mysterio tonight. Nobody in WWE has said it, but there's been a lot of things. And you've seen his style. You see how he looks right now, right? Been a lot of pictures floating around online of him coming out and just how Eddie did at WrestleMania a few years ago. And I don't know if WWE has the testicular fortitude to pull that off. But I do find it interesting, and I'm very interested to see how the entrances go for this match. This is the first match where I kind of look at and go, wonder how these entrances might go tonight. Let's go with predictions. Frankie's already said we're going to leave him for last this time. Well, we might be on the same page on some of this stuff, maybe. So I'll let you go second. Chad, you're first.
Man. I guess my heart wants me to say it's going to be Rey, but I just feel like it's going to be Dom. I don't know. I think they're still going to push him with, this heel stance that he's taken, and he's obviously done a great job with it and ran with it, right? He's getting the hate coming all directions. So shout out to Dom. I always like me a good heel. It's always good when you get a good heel. So I'm gonna go Dom with this one, but my heart wants me to say Rey. I won't lie, just because a fan of wrestling, and we know what that guy has done for us, throughout the years. But I think he's going to put his son over, right? If there's anyone to put his son over at WrestleMania, it's him. So I think that's what I'm going with.
All right. We go to you, Frankie.
All right, you guys are going to probably say, Frankie, crazy.
You're
but
crazy.
But you want to know something? You know, that first match we talked about with John Cena, Sean was going outside the box. So I'm going to say something crazy. I'm going to say that Dominic wins. Everybody's saying, hey, possibility Ray might retire or whatnot. That's not going to happen. What's going to happen is Rey Mysterio Jr. will join the Judgment Day, and he will be part of that group.
Interesting. Wow, I didn't think about that end of it being the end of it. This is my thinking. I also think Dominic Mysterio wins. I think a few of the Judgment Day gets involved. I don't see Finn coming down, but maybe Damian gets involved in some of the LWO, so you get a little commotion going on. And there's somebody who has left AEW recently. You're going to be working for the Home Shopping Network a little bit. What's to say little Vicky Guerrero doesn't get involved and help Dominic Mysterio win this match tonight?
I don't know.
It's true. Yeah,
you know what? And I'm not a big fan of Vicky Guerrero, but I wouldn't be surprised that they do bring her back.
You know what's funny is I go back to the ladder match when I think it was Dom, and it was the battle for Dom. I remember that. And Vicky was, I believe, supposed to be there for a ladder spot or something. And she wasn't there. And Eddie had the thing, and he's yelling down to Ray, like, where's Vicky? And Ray's looking around, and Vicky climbs over and knocks Eddie off of the ladder. But it's one of those things to where, you know, again, surprises and everything else. You're like, not saying Vicky comes back and is in Ray's. I've heard another story where Vicky comes back and starts managing, and then Dom turns on Rhea and all this. I think one night only to kind of full circle this whole thing with the whole. And again, it's far-fetched, but it's WrestleMania. This is the one show where if it's far-fetched, WWE may try to do it just to get that oh shit moment. That moment to where it's like, did not see that one coming. Saw everything else. I didn't see that happening, you know? So, again, you can hope. But I think we all agree. I think Dominic wins, and I think it's more of Ray doing the honors and building up his son's career more than...
Let me ask you something. Imagine if Ray joins the Judgment Day, right? And then they bring him on Monday night, and then on Monday night he goes and he says, look, you know, I've been a bad father for so many years for Dominic, so I had to go ahead and jump with his group and make up for all the lost time that I've had. You know, you would never think something like that.
No, you wouldn't.
It would be awesome if that would happen.
I would just be interested to see how they did him if he did that. Because again, remember last night he brought back the LWO.
He did.
And now tonight, does he change and go? Because I think what he's doing is setting up Judgment Day and LWO for more stuff down the line, possibly. Again, it's far because after WrestleMania, sometimes WWE hits a reset button and things just change on a whim. But it'll be interesting. Let's go on. Let's move on. We've got before we get to the title matches tonight, Seth Rollins, Logan Paul. Logan Paul, interesting. The only celebrity, I believe, on the card as I'm looking at it. Yeah, I think he's the only celebrity that is booked as for a match. Your thoughts on this match, Mr. Shobe?
I mean, I think both these guys are going to, of course, come out and put on a performance just being who they are. You know, I'm not like necessarily interested in this storyline. I guess really I'm just not a big Logan Paul guy. But what he has done, like coming into wrestling, is impressive. And, you know, he seems to be a natural fit. I guess I just don't like him because I know who he was before that, right? You know, the cockiness and all that. But I mean, at this point, I mean, he's a celebrity, Sean, but he could be considered a wrestler now, right? Like he's going to be under contract soon, it seems like, with, you know, how they've been working with him and stuff like that. And he seems to really enjoy it. Of course, I like Seth, this crazy, wild, you know, Seth that's going on with the crazy outfits. And, you know, it's a different face type of Seth, you know what I mean? And I dig it, but of course, I think this is going to be one of those entertaining matches, because I think both these guys are going to try to, go out there and like steal the show. In regards of like the storyline itself, I haven't been too fond of it in the buildup, but I think in regards of performance, these guys are going to come out there and, of course, try to shut it down. And I think that's what I'll be excited for. So as a match for WrestleMania, I'm excited to see what these guys are going to do for WrestleMania, because they know what the stage is. So I'm excited.
Frankie, you're up, man.
I love this match, man. I love Seth. I am really, really a big Logan Paul fan. I love his wrestling. I mean, when I first saw him come in, I thought he was gonna not be that so good, but man, he surprised me. And overall, in general, I like this storyline. I think what's gonna happen though is with Logan Paul, they like extending his storylines quite a bit. I know this has been going for, I think after like right during Royal Rumble and moving forward, like maybe a little bit before. But I think the storyline is gonna continue. I don't think they're just gonna let Logan Paul sit there and the winner of this match is gonna leave the storyline and they're gonna move forward. I don't see that. I actually see them continuing this feud between the two of them in the long run. And I honestly do like the fact that Seth Rollins is starting to once again be pushed, because for a time there he was like really like he himself has even said it that he felt like he was being kind of forgotten in WWE, and now they're bringing him back. And I really like the fact that they teamed him up with Logan Paul. A lot of people know who Logan Paul is. A lot of eyes are going to see this fight because they know who Logan Paul is. So that's just more views, more eyes on Seth Rollins. And Seth Rollins is such a great wrestler. I love his outfits. I want to see what kind of outfit he wears when he comes out. That's what I want to see. So.
No, I love this version of Seth Rollins 100%, and once again, respect to Logan Paul and everything he's done. I guess he hasn't won me over yet in regards of like fandom, but he's doing a great job in regards of wrestling. And, I think this once I'm with you, Frank, I think it's going to be one of those matches, like this is probably this one's going to be talked about probably, so I'm excited.
I'm going to say right now, this will be the show stealer. This match will steal the show, especially night one. Night two, maybe because the emotion of everything that's available that could happen in night two. But I think this match, and here's one other thing, Logan Paul's contract ends after WrestleMania. Now, is he going to re-sign? We don't know. Or, again, has he already re-signed? Don't know. His contract does end after WrestleMania. And I think, again, Seth always shows up at Manias. If you go back and you look, Randy Orton, the RKO that Randy Orton gave to him, one of the most memorable moments. Him cashing in, the Money in the Bank, the briefcase against Brock and Roman, always talked about.
Goosebumps, man,
so
when I saw
those things to where he's always going out to steal the show. And Logan Paul so far, and again, when I laughed. They're like, Logan Paul, and I was like, but remember, he worked with Shawn Michaels. He worked with Ricochet. He's worked with Drew Gulak. He's worked with a lot of guys to get prepared. And you see that he doesn't overdo. Hell, I think he does the buckshot lariat better than Adam Page does right now. You know what I'm saying? I mean,
don't insult Adam. Don't say that. Adam Page got that.
I don't know. I've watched him. And also, if what I saw is correct, Logan Paul's entrance could be pretty interesting. All right. Another one of those interesting things. Prediction. I'll go first. Seth Rollins wins a great match. And I think this might be the send off for Logan Paul for a little bit, but I think everybody's talking about this match afterwards, after the two, but I think Seth Rollins will pull it off and it'll start Seth's march back toward the WWE Championship. Frankie, you go.
I say Seth wins, but Logan Paul does re-sign with WWE and this storyline continues. I don't know what kind of twist they're going to put in there. I wouldn't be surprised if maybe they even bring Logan Paul's brother into the mix just for shits and giggles. Mm-hmm. So I have Seth freaking Rollins winning, but I still think this storyline is going to continue after WrestleMania. At least I wouldn't even be surprised if they do something from Monday Night Raw with these two guys.
Chad? prediction?
Change it up. I'm gonna go Logan Paul wins. And then it continues the feud because I think at this point, Seth will still be Seth, right? And he could recover and still get that push. This could really push Logan Paul to another level. And of course, that can be big money for both Logan and the WWE. To your point, Frank, earlier, like he has his own fans already and how many eyes, right? So and more people are gonna, might watch this and of course love it, and that just might generate them to be like, okay, we got to keep this rolling. I do think though his brother somehow does get into this match because I'm sure that was a deal breaker. And that's got to be like me, my brother. If that ever happened to us, of course, I would be like, as kids, right? You dream about being at WrestleMania somehow with your brother, right? So I definitely think that happens. And I'm going Logan Paul wins, and he gets that push. I think he surprises everybody and, comes out with the dub.
All right, real quick, I got some Sean Ross Sapp with Fightful Sports. Sent out some confirmed rumors. There were special entrances pitched for Dominic Mysterio for WrestleMania. The Andre the Giant Battle Royal trophy was transferred over, so Lashley will be there. They're still trying to figure out the decision's supposed to be finalized this morning at the meeting as far as the main event. Xavier Wood props were sent over, even though he's not listed as advertised. They were briefed regarding Vince McMahon's involvement or possible attendance of WrestleMania. Talents expect him to be present and public backstage. And Gangrel's possible involvement. He was at the Performance Center a few months ago, and we'll talk about that when we get into day 2. Let me see if there's anything unconfirmed. Randy Orton return. He's been insistent to those close to him that he's not done wrestling after having a back fusion. And then there was overtures to land Stone Cold. Apparently, the idea that he could still appear has been picking up traction backstage, but they can't confirm that Stone Cold will be involved. So some confirmed and unconfirmed stuff going on there.
I hope they don't bring Stone Cold.
You have no idea. Go ahead, Frank. I'm sorry, I stepped on.
I hope they don't bring Stone Cold. Like, I don't think it's.
I think there's enough going on. I think there's enough going on.
Yeah.
Let's jump into. We got 2 title matches for night 1, then we can go into night 2. And appreciate everybody in the chat. Cap for Life, Knight, you guys are tremendous. Nicholas, am I going to say your last name? Colmenares?
Yeah, that's my brother.
Oh, I figured that.
That's the guy that said
a minute ago.
That's the setup.
Of course, Terry's always in there. All you guys, I appreciate all. Nate G, Carlos Martinez, my pops is in there. Ray Sosa, Nizzle. So appreciate you all, man. Appreciate you being on here, listening to us talk the round table here. Let's start. And again, I don't know which match is ending the show. We'll start with the women's title. Charlotte Flair versus Rhea Ripley. Rhea Ripley, of course, wins the Royal Rumble automatically the next day. Doesn't waste much time. Calls out Charlotte Flair. It's been kind of a very slow build from Royal Rumble to now. So we'll start with Frankie. What do you got for this one?
I'm a big fan of Rhea Ripley, and if I'm pushing my story of Rey Mysterio joining them and all them, it only makes sense that that group becomes even more bigger. So I think Rhea Ripley's finally gonna get over Charlotte Flair, and that's kind of like pretty much to tell you guys my prediction.
But yeah, right now you can go ahead.
That's what I got. I see her beating Charlotte Flair finally, and having a good run with the title for a while, in my opinion.
Mr. Show.
I kind of agree with Frankie on this one. I think this is going to be that Rhea push, which she truly deserves at this point, right? She's put in the work. She's done a great job, leading up into this point. I think overall, deserves the title shot. And I think, Charlotte just, her, knowing the history of wrestling, she knows that she's got to put her over, right? And she's possibly the next person in line. And I don't think Charlotte has an issue with that as well. You know, she's always trying to, you know, help push women's wrestling to the next level. So, you know, not to give my prediction, but I agree with Frankie.
No, go ahead and give it, because Frankie give your prediction.
Yeah. I think Rhea Ripley takes it. And, you know, I think this, of course, there's a lot of stakes on, you know, the table, right, with the title matches. But I think, you know, in regards of, you know, the women, they always love trying to outdo the men, right? And I think this is going to be one of those matches that, you know, these two ladies are going to go and try to steal the show too. I think this might be like the show stealer in a sense, Sean. You know, I think these two are going to really try to go on and put on a show. So I think it's going to go back and forth, and it's going to be a good match.
I think Rhea Ripley has to win this match. She needs it more for her character development than Charlotte Flair needs for hers. The way they've built her up in the Judgment Day, you know, again, Charlotte Flair's just like her dad, an umpteen time world champion. If she loses it, no skin off the game. I think if Rhea does not win the title, it hurts the development of that Rhea Ripley character more than anything else. So I agree with you guys 100%. I think it's Rhea Ripley, and it's not even close. And then also, with the stuff coming out, you know, Charlotte Flair doing the interviews this week, talking about when she originally came back, it wasn't supposed to be to win the title. It was supposed to be to confront Ronda Rousey, but Ronda had an injury. So they decided to put the belt on her so they could make sure they could have a build to WrestleMania and go from there. So ultimately, I think, like you said, I think Charlotte came in and has been the placeholder for the title to finally be able to have Rhea sit atop the throne of the SmackDown division of the women's.
Now I have a quick question.
Yep.
If Rhea does win, how is that going to affect the Judgment Day? Because remember, the majority of the time, they're on Monday Night Raw. So if she wins the title, she would be more often in SmackDown. Am I correct?
Yeah, I think you'll end up seeing them switch over to SmackDown.
Okay.
I think you'll see the Judgment Day probably switch.
Gotcha.
Because they do have the quote-unquote, whatever you call, where they can go back and forth, the wild card type thing, which hasn't even been talked about now. It's just kind of everybody shows up wherever. And I kind of like it better that way, because then you can throw in a couple surprises every once in a while. Like, you know, with Ray showing up, leaving Dom because he didn't want to deal with Dom, it helped extend the story life of that storyline. You know, they had a couple weeks where Dom and Ray really didn't have then Dom showed up with Rhea on SmackDown once she confronted Charlotte. So then it started building. I think they can do a lot more stuff and also bring some stuff out there. So, but I think ultimately she'll have to be on SmackDown. So I would think Judgment goes to SmackDown. I don't see Judgment Day going away. I hope they don't.
With Rey Mysterio.
There you go. Maybe that's what they'll do. They'll kick Rhea out and bring Ray in. Hey. It's an R. It's an R. Ray for Rhea. Do that way. Let's look at the undisputed tag team champions. This has been building for 67,000 years, it feels like now. The Usos, the champions, taking on Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens. Last year, it was KO Mania. This year, it's WrestleZania. What do you say, Chad Shobe?
Yo, all about it. I'm a huge KO fan, as you know, Sean. I think they did a great job, of course, breaking KO and Zayn up, and then the whole bloodline thing and building up to bring them back together. That was probably one of the best pops we ever heard when we saw Sami Zayn and KO hug once again. Just a huge fan of this team when they were El Generico and Kevin Steen for, you know, the hardcore fans out there. But I think what they've done with this storyline, and of course the countering storyline with it, you know, for tomorrow night has just been phenomenal. And I'm super excited for this match. And we know that the Usos, they come out and put on a show. I think this is going to be, I think this will they'll do with the closer, Sean, as we were talking about earlier, because, you know, I think it's just the buildup has been so much more, right? So, of course, that anticipation for this match is there. But I'm super excited, man. I'm hoping I see some stunners. I want to see some running cannonballs. Let's go. KO, baby. Let's go. Sorry, Frankie. I saw your face when I threw up the KO shirt.
Frankie, you were.
I love KO and I like Zammy as well. Zammy's actually grown. I'm really happy how they like literally grown his character after, you know, they just threw him in the bloodline, and then afterwards what they've done with him has been amazing. I like the Usos a lot as well. I agree with Chad. I think this is gonna be the closer. This is gonna be the fight that closes out WrestleMania Day 1. I think it's gonna be some involvement with the other guy. I forgot his
Solo Sikoa.
Solo. So I think Solo's gonna get involved in this one, in my opinion. Some way, somehow. But yeah, I see this as besides the Logan Paul Seth freaking Rollins fight being probably the best fight of the night, I see this one like falling right as the second one.
Yeah, well, I think that again, I talked about it earlier. I think this is the one fans are going to be the most emotionally involved in.
100%.
You know what I'm saying? I think Seth and Logan are going to steal the show by what happens. Emotionally, look, if Sammy and KO win the titles and that ends night 1 of WrestleMania, does it end on a higher note?
Absolutely not.
You know, I mean, you're going to have confetti flying and everything else that you can do. And I think I just broke something.
Sean got too excited.
Yeah, I just snapped something off my desk. I don't even know what it was. I had a tablet, something else back there. So hopefully it's not the tablet. But you know, I think, and I always talk about on the shows, and you guys know, wrestling's about being emotionally invested. And that's what they've done with this from the beginning. Again, it didn't really start off that way, but it organically, you know, Sammy organically came into with the bloodline, and then with the Usi line, and you know, and you start seeing things organically happen. Those are the best damn things. I mean, when, you know, going back, Stone Cold said, you know, bump your Bibles and say your prayers. John 3:16 didn't kick your ass. Austin 3:16 did. That was organic. And then the next day, it's Austin 3:16 signs. They're like, hey, shirts. Boom. Okay, let's do it. Things that happen organically, you allow fans to get so damn emotionally invested into it that it doesn't matter. Those 4 guys could go out there and probably have the worst match of their lives. As long as KO and Sammy get the 1, 2, 3, everybody's going to forget about everything else. You know what I'm saying? And I don't think that they're going to have a shit match either, by the way. I'm just saying. But I believe that at this moment, everybody is so emotionally invested in the hug you talked about. I mean, it nearly blew the roof off the place.
That was one of the biggest pops I had seen
it's
in
amazing,
a while.
But that's what happens when you get somebody organically, emotionally invested, not pushing Cena down your throat for 15 years till finally everybody's like, all right, fine, we got to like him because, and then you get Cena sucks and everything else. This happened organically. They put Sami Zayn over there because they had nothing else for him to do. And hey, go over there and be an Outcast member. We'll figure something out. And he made the best of it. The Usos and Roman, to their credit, and Paul Heyman, they were like, no, let's take this chicken shit and make chicken salad. And that's what they did. And it became something to where it was like, do you think they originally said, okay, at was it Royal Rumble or no? Royal Rumble was Kevin Owens. Mm-hmm. So at Elimination Chamber, Sami Zayn is penciled in as the main event against Roman Reigns. Do you think 4 or 5 months ago that was the plan? Hell no.
Nope.
You know what I'm saying? So it's one of those things that that I don't think there can be. The only wrong I think would be for the Usos to keep the titles. And that'll throw out my prediction. I'll start the predictions. I think Sami Zayn, Kevin Owens win this match because the fans deserve a payoff. And again, the fans deserve a payoff for Sami Zayn versus the Bloodline. So I think Sami Zayn, KO, leave night 1 your tag team champions. Frankie, you're up.
I am gonna go ahead and disagree with you. I do not see the Usos losing their belts. I see the Usos winning this and then they'll keep the storyline going. I honestly feel that the next pay-per-view, they'll probably squeeze them in the main event, like in a 3-way match, like a 3-on-3 versus maybe KO and Sammy and maybe even Cody on there. I think that's how they're gonna go with this. I think the Usos are still gonna be the champions. I don't night two it was gonna be different, my prediction, but as far as them, I still think that they're gonna try to hold that bloodline intact. And if something was to happen in that group, it's gonna be that the Usos are gonna do everything possible to try to save that group there. I don't think they're gonna lose the belts. I think they take it. I think they're gonna just burst everybody's bubble and not let Sammy and KO be the winners. Granted, I want them to win, but I don't know. Something's telling me that the Usos will hold on to the belts.
Chad, you're up.
Sammy and KO, absolutely. I agree with Sean. We need the payoff. I also think it sets up things, the storyline's been great, but I also feel like this bloodline thing has been dragged on a little bit longer than it needs to be personally. And I think this starts to really, thread things a different way. I also have, I guess, once we get to, tomorrow night, I have my prediction and I guess a reason for that. And we'll get into that when we get there. But I think this starts everything to kind of get away from the bloodline storyline. We're going to see things start to like trickle away from that. And then like new storylines coming up, I think. But KO, Sami Zayn, it's been too long that KO has not been wearing gold. He doesn't look good not wearing gold around his shoulder. So, let's put some gold on KO. And of course, at this point, Sammy deserves to be wearing some gold, man, for all that he's gone through and what he's had to do to get to this point. And of course, lose to Roman. Yeah, man, he needs to be strapped up, man. So I got KO and Sami Zayn. And by the way, Sean, Cap for life, he's asking like make him a moderator for the channel, but he doesn't understand.
I can't do that. I don't have that access.
Yeah. I'm
EP by. There's certain things I don't have access to.
And certain decisions are not made by Sean, and trust me, I know. So that just so you know, Cap.
There was also a super chat from Knight. I don't know which.
Yeah. I was going to at the end of the show, Frankie. I saw it because I think that goes right after we say what our predictions are. I think that'll lead into to that super chat. I've been keeping it right there where I can see it so I don't forget. Remind me in case at the end I forget, because that was my plan to do it at the end there. Let's go ahead and go to night 2. That's night 1, guys. So we'll try to get through night 2 quick. I know both of you guys got things to do.
Oh, yeah.
And more than talk wrestling. Let's look at the women's showcase. Liv Morgan, Raquel Rodriguez versus Natalya and Shotzi versus Ronda Rousey and Shayna Baszler versus Chelsea Green and Sonya Deville. It is the women's showcase. By the way, Shotzi's tank is there. So that's going to happen. You guys, you're up. Go ahead, Chad, you first.
This women's showcase might be more entertaining than the men's showcase, I think. But I'm not, not necessarily excited for it. I don't want to call it a filler match because I feel like this, could be a showcase for a lot of these ladies, trying to get a push and stuff like that. But yeah, I to me, mediocre, I guess you could say on the card, not necessarily I'm something like, I think it's just going to be entertaining to watch, but not necessarily have any emotions or anything tied into it. No stakes really in it again. But it should be a fun match to watch. I'm sure they're going to make it fun for us.
Mr. Fresco?
I think this is also gonna surprise people. I like this match. I don't see it like the filler match like on day 1. I think these girls are gonna come out and wrestle. I honestly do feel that they're gonna put on a show. I'm a big fan of Liv Morgan. I thought I went to that Sunday Stunner a couple months ago, and I think she did a great job in that Sunday Stunner that we went to. And I like
6-man tag, right?
Yeah, and I like Raquel Rodriguez a lot. I like her a lot. It's hard to kind of say that they're gonna win it. I don't think they will, but I still think they're gonna put on a good show. I think it's gonna be a good fight, and I think it's the reason why, because I think it's gonna be a good show. I think it's gonna be a good fight, and I think it's the reason why, I think it's gonna be a good fight, and I think it's the reason why WWE put it as on the second day of WrestleMania, because they figured that these girls are gonna go out there and put on a show, and I think that's what's gonna happen. So I actually am looking forward to this fight.
Yeah, as I look at the second day card, and I don't know if you guys have that up, I sent to you. This is probably second match on night 2, depending on how they want to do it, because you've got 3 championships, the Hell in a Cell, then it's just the showcase in Lesnar. I mean, I don't know. Do they start do they start with maybe? Well, it'd probably be the Intercontinental title match, just to start it off with physicality.
I hope they would probably start with the Brock Lesnar Omos one, because I don't think that fight is going to go that long, to be honest.
Well, that's why I don't think it'll start, because usually you want that first match to at least get the involvement, which why I think this match might be. It's going to be interesting to see. I think this might be, and let's go ahead into results. Who do you got winning, Frankie?
I can't go against Ronda Rousey. I think Ronda Rousey and Shayna Baszler win this. I think they're gonna eventually try to push them as eventually like big in the tag team area, in the tag team group. So I got them winning.
Mr. Show?
Liv, man, I've been a big Liv Morgan fan since she's like come in, so I got them winning. Just kind of like a fan bias, but there might be more storyline to what Frankie's saying there to kind of give Ronda that push and stuff like that.
Yeah,
so,
I think I agree with Frankie. The only thing I could see is maybe a wild card, because they're doing the Karen gimmick with Chelsea Green. Maybe somehow Ronda and Shayna beat somebody down, and somehow they end up stealing the victory. But I agree. I think it's going to be Ronda and Shayna. Let's go to and real quick. Cap for Life says, "I'm going to tell you something that I've not told anyone in years. I have not watched wrestling since I was 14 years old. I'm 44 and I'm going to my buddy's house to watch WrestleMania. Tonight is going to be good, gentlemen." And then he said, "You guys realize that we've been talking about WWE for an hour. When Sean does the breakdown of AEW, gets at least 20 minutes of recognition. They need to do better."
Wait, well, I will say this. If you have me more on, Sean, for AEW talk, we're going to go for hours talking, because I'm a big AEW fan.
Yeah, we'll go hours debating. We'll fight each other and trench out eyes, because no, look, man, it's not the product. It's more of the presentation, I believe, is why they can't. Because when you watch, and man, I don't want to get in a tangent because I know we got matches to go over. But when you watch WWE, you're watching a show, you're watching a production, you're watching, it feels like, okay, I should be watching this. With AEW, I don't get the same, and I get that you don't want to be the same as what they are. I understand that. But when you watch it, there's nothing there that says I have to stay and watch. That's my feeling on it.
I just to kind of chime in, I think AEW lacks its own storylines. I mean, it's very, very unfortunate. Live shows, you're getting your money's worth 100%. Their wrestling is amazing, and the acrobatics that they do, even though it's dangerous. I mean, I know we're not gonna go too much into it, but look at Dante Martin's injury last night on Ring of Honor. So it's the wrestling is amazing. I love it. That's the reason, guys. I've been watching wrestling since I was 5. So I remember for some time I stopped watching wrestling because I was like, look, I'm tired of WWE. And when AEW came, that's when I came back into wrestling, and I started going hardcore back on AEW and then watching WWE again. So the wrestling is there. It's just the storylines. They do such a bad job with
I'll never say a bad thing about a performer. Never. You'll never hear me say anything. I mean, if they have a bad match, yeah, they'll have an off match. Maybe there's a couple moves here, a couple little botches and things like that. But when I say there's something bad about it, it's usually more about the writing, the script, the storytelling. Because again, some of it falls on the performer where they've got to make chicken salad out of chicken shit because they're told, here's your script. This is what you got to do. This is the angle we're shooting. And some people can say no and some people can't. So
I think the only thing that AEW does have on WWE, in my opinion, is those after press conferences. I actually like better the AEW press conference than the WWE.
Yeah, because WWEs are still more guarded.
Yeah.
That's the problem. AEW doesn't care. They're just like, hey, let's let them in and ask questions. We'll tell whatever, which is why you got All Out or Brawl Out, however you want to call it. That's what happened. I mean, it's just people were able to say how they felt right after they got out of the ring, and some people couldn't handle it, and then it turned into a fight. So that's what we got. And then you lost your guy that could have maybe pushed you over the edge a little bit. All right, let's move in. There's our AEW. 20 minutes. 20 minutes of AEW. Oh my goodness. Cat for Life is going to get that the blue ring somehow. Some way, somehow. We'll get it for you, Cap for Life. All right. Brock Lesnar versus Omos. It will be happening Sunday night. So we'll give Frankie, you can start us off with that one.
Short and sweet fight. That's how I see this turning out. I don't see this going that long. They're two big guys. I don't see them going for like the same amount of time like Seth Rollins and Logan Paul are gonna do. So it's gonna be a quick fight. I like both of them though, but yeah, it's an okay fight. That's why I kind of thought it was gonna probably start it off because of the superstar power of Brock Lesnar. But
and you may be right, man. I just don't know if you want a fight that's gonna be that short to be the first match. That's kind of like, hey, we need to set up the cage. All right, send out Brock and Omos, have them destroy everything. Then as they're cleaning it up, we can lower down the cage.
Well, how long was the Brock Lesnar Bobby Lashley fight?
Not that long. Maybe 5 minutes.
Yeah, right. It was like all
minutes. Yeah, it wasn't long. It was just it gets so brutal and physical that you almost lose track of time on how quick it really is. Chad?
Yeah, I'm with Frankie. This is gonna be a quick one. Too big. Like, I mean, there's not too much to showcase here, right? We both understand they both have power, right? So we're just gonna see a couple power moves and a 1, 2, 3. I guess I'll get my prediction. I think that Brock's gonna win, right? Brock's their guy that they want to probably keep pushing. So I feel like Brock will get the win, show how dominant he is, and how you doing, keep it moving type of deal on this one. It'll be quick, sweet, to the point.
Frankie, go ahead and give your prediction since Chad did his.
I got Omos. I feel like he's gonna be an upset because if you look at the storyline, they've been pushing Omos every single time, getting over Brock Lesnar. So like he threw him over the ring. He then got what was it on Monday night? I think he grabbed like the weight scale and hit him with the weight scale. So it was like I think they're pushing Omos a lot more than Brock Lesnar. I think Brock Lesnar can take another L. He lost to Bobby Lashley. I feel like it's gonna happen the same way. Something's gonna happen where he's not gonna clearly lose. He's gonna probably lose by either somebody getting involved or him, just something going on. But I see Omos winning this one.
I also think it's going to be short and sweet. I also have Omos winning. I believe you see the resurrection of the Hurt Business starting up. I know Brock Lesnar's contract is coming to an end. He does not work by the hour, so I can see him probably come in right away, rock Omos, throw an F5 on him, Omos kick out of 1, maybe hit him with 2, then go for something else, and Omos hits him with his finish and ends up picking up the victory. I can see something like that, and then possible beatdown afterwards from the Hurt Business if any of them get involved. But yeah, that's kind of one of those matches as we talked about up top with I hate to say it, the Becky Lynch Lita Trish Stratus match. It's just like one of those. It's like, yeah, it's cool to be on the card, and there you go. Hell in a Cell, Edge, which again, rumors are it'll be Brood Edge versus Demon Balor. Hell in a Cell. Frankie, you're rubbing your hands. I'm going to let you go first.
Wow. I am, besides the Cody Roman fight, this is the highlight of WrestleMania, in my opinion. Besides that, I wish if it wasn't because of Roman and Cody, I think this would have been the best match to close WrestleMania. And I actually saw an interview that they had with Edge. I believe it was on Busted Open, and they were talking about Edge was like saying, yo, it's like he cherishes every moment he can coming back to the wrestling ring after being 9 years out. And I am a big fan of the Rated R Superstar. My brother's a big fan of Rated R
I
Superstar.
can tell. He just jumped in. Rated R Superstar, baby.
Where it's always been, and I think they're bringing the old Hell in the Cell kind of cage, right? Is that what they're doing?
It's the original one. It's the all silver one. All silver. It's not red anymore like they've been doing.
Man, I'm excited about that fight. I think if it would have been just a regular fight, I understand, but because they made it, a cage one, a Hell in a Cell, it's gonna be awesome. Can I go ahead with my prediction?
Let's do it. We're getting long on time, so let's just do the predictions as we do our thing.
Okay, I got the Rated R Superstar finally winning, and this storyline finally ends. I think this is the closeout. No more Rated R Superstar versus the Judgment Day or anything like that. He wins in a amazing fight.
Mr. Shob.
This is another one of those matches with a lot of emotion, I feel like, in it, right? They did a good job building it up. Obviously, this guy loves the Rated R Superstar. I love me some Finn Balor. So I got Finn Balor in this one. I think this is going to be one of those things that, we're going to see a great match. And I feel like at this point, Finn's been kind of put, on the shelf, and he needs to get a push again, man. He was one of those guys that was getting, a good push at the beginning, and now it seems like they don't know what to do with him. And I think this might be a good way if he goes and has a great Hell in a Cell match, kills it. There's a good way for him to get back on top of that card, where I think that's where he wants to be.
All right, so you got Balor. All right. So here's going to be, this to me is a match where it's going to tell me a lot of what WWE is thinking about the Judgment Day. Because if Balor gets beat, Judgment Day is done. To me, Judgment Day loses all steam if he gets beat in this match. Now, how you do it, you can do whatever you want to do to end up beating Edge. My whole thing that I can't wait to see is the entrances. One, Demon Balor coming to the ring as a Demon's probably going to take 47 minutes, and he's probably going to beat the Undertaker's 27-minute record. So, and then Edge supposedly is coming as the Brood, and if you want to believe dirt sheets, Christian was given permission by Tony Khan to be a part of it. Gangrel has already been rumored to be a part of it, so we could see the three of them rising from the fire, and that would be a badass entrance to see in 2023 at a WrestleMania. And then I think what you'll see is both men beat the crap out of each other. A lot of emotion involved in it, but I believe if you take down Balor, that does it for Judgment Day. In my books, that does it for Judgment Day, because there's no what are you doing after that? If Balor loses to Edge in Hell in a Cell, he's destroyed what he created, which could, again, could also put that bow tie on that whole thing, because he said, I will kill what I create, which is something that Vince McMahon has been noted as saying too, which is pretty interesting.
I would agree with you if Rhea Ripley loses as well. But
you got Rey Mysterio going over there. You got Rey taking.
That's why. So if you have Rhea Ripley, let's say Rey does jump on board, which is a very bold prediction, but
again, yes, let's
say he does. I mean, what's not to say that maybe Rey takes over the Judgment Day and then Finn Balor is kicked out. Remember, they kicked out Edge, so I wouldn't be surprised if they do something like that. I don't think.
You're kind of talking. What happens if Judgment Day comes down? Now, look. Judgment Day comes down in Hell in a Cell. Who is one of Edge's best friends?
Christian?
No. Think right now in WWE. That's there physically.
Oh, Rey Mysterio.
There you go. He comes out to save Edge in Hell in the Cell. And then there's your swerve. There's where he helps his son.
Could be.
Then if that would be, one of those things to where I could see that more, and not necessarily him joining Judgment Day, but doing right by his son.
Yeah.
In his eyes, I just can't see Rey being a part of Judgment Day. That's probably
the reason why it would be so good.
My blinders right now is that I don't see He's coming out in all black. You know what I'm
Oh
saying?
man, that would be amazing.
Like,
You would nobody
that is
nobody
the
would
part that I'm
expect that.
having the issue with. But I could see him doing that, maybe, possibly, interfering in there, and then. But then again, then you have Judgment Day winning, which allows them again, because I think Judgment Day right now, besides the Bloodline, is your heel group.
Yeah.
And if you're talking about the Bloodline possibly, fracturing and everything else, you got to have that group there still, to me. And again, this is.
I mean, let's say for example, Ray doesn't do the jump. Let's just say it's just straightforward. Finn Balor loses. I think as long as Rita wins, I don't think there's a reason why the Judgment Day won't continue. I mean, it's just a hiccup. But remember, look at the Hall of Fame last night. It was them three. It was Dominic, Rhea Ripley, and Damian Priest. There was no Finn Balor there, if you noticed.
Oh yeah, because he's doing the demon gimmick, so you can't have that out there. Just like Edge wasn't there either.
True.
And Edge is his best friend. You know what I'm saying? It's like it was one of those things, which is where I was saying, like, I wish they would just not have had him out there. I think I'm in the minority. I think everybody loved the fact that they did the angle at the Hall of Fame. Everybody that I've talked to, everybody that, everybody loves it. I just thought that when you're doing those types of things, you should make them what they are, a reflection and an honoring of that person, not keeping an angle going. I mean, now what are they going to do next year? Have somebody attack somebody to set up, an angle going that way? But I can see where you're saying, but I just, to me, you take the momentum if you chop the head off the snake. If you chop the tail off the snake, tail grows back.
What about if for some strange reason Edge jumps back with the Judgment Day?
That could be, but then who are they beating up in Hell in a Cell? Because you're trying to, if that is the case, then you're trying to get somebody.
Because
you're trying to do the mousetrap to where somebody's coming to help Edge, and that's the person that you're trying to take out.
Because we're also getting like an evil Edge, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's Ray. Ray coming out to save Edge, and then that's when he turns. To your point, Sean.
Have Edge turn on Ray, and then what? Judgment Day beats down Ray.
Yeah, and then, or I'm just saying, you're like, well, where's the count and mouse? Like, where's the mouse? You know what I'm saying? That would be the mouse. That maybe that's where Edge. Yeah, but I just got a question.
To me, if Dom beats Ray tonight, that kind of nips that part to me. There, depending on how they work it. But again, I always look at WrestleMania as the reset for WWE. I look at it as that's usually where they end a lot of the storylines, and then because WWE writes from Raw after WrestleMania to WrestleMania. So that's kind of how they do their year.
What Knight says on the chat, he just finished saying something. I agree with him that I've never felt like Finn Balor was like such a I've never seen him as the leader, even though he is, but I've never seen him as the leader of the Judgment Day. I've always seen him like, hey, he's just another part of the group type of person. I always felt that, hard to believe, but I always felt that group is intact because of Rhea Ripley. That's who I always like. I think she does a great job on that group.
She's the mother. She's the mother of the group. Mm-hmm.
So that's why I think if Finn loses, I don't think it's gonna hurt the group. I think the group will still last. It might be like a little setback for them, but if Dom wins, if Rhea Ripley wins, and Finn Balor loses, I mean, you still got 2 out of the 3. So,
all right. We'll leave it at that. We'll see how that goes.
Sean, I got a question though. If Gangrel comes out of the fire, are we getting the blood chalice?
Yes.
Okay.
You got to.
All right. I'm just making sure, man.
You don't come out of the blood. You don't come out of the fire with no blood.
I would love Gangrel. Some CCW out there.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Oh.
Well, they were out there filming, so
they were yesterday. Yeah.
Let's talk next one. The IC Championship: Gunther versus Sheamus versus Drew. Chad, you're up.
I like this match. I think it's going to be a fun and a good one. I would like we're going in prediction. I would like to see the IC title back on, Drew, and let him get that push. I think this is going to be a fun one. I think we're going to see a lot of power shown in this one again, right? We're going to get a lot of, power, I don't know how.
The night of brutality is night 2.
I don't know how much, how long this match will be. This might be one of those shorter matches, based off of that. But yeah, I'm excited for it. I think, the IC title still holds a lot of history, right? So I'm always excited for those matches. And I think even in true IC title fashion, we're getting the triple threat, right? Like 3 guys trying to be the next guy, so to speak, right? So I love that aspect to it. And, you know, I don't know. I'm just a Drew McIntyre fan, so I'm going to say put it on him, but, you know, they might go a different way.
Okay,
fanboy. Probably will.
Okay, fanboy. Go ahead, Frankie.
I like Gunther. I think he's gonna take it. I think Drew McIntyre and Sheamus are gonna go ahead and kind of get interchanged one with the other eventually, and I think Gunther sneaks in and takes the win, and he retains that intercontinental belt once again.
Yeah, I got a couple. This is the one thing though. Everybody keeps throwing in. Sheamus has never held the Intercontinental title. Every time he's worked the last few weeks, it's always been. I hope Gunther keeps the title and keeps building up the Intercontinental title, but I have this feeling that they're going to give it to Sheamus. I have a feeling, but my pick is Gunther. I'm hoping. Let's jump in. We got a couple more matches. The Raw Women's Championship, Bianca Belair versus Asuka. I will go ahead and start with this one. Great Muta went into the Hall of Fame. Spit in the Mist. Asuka wins the title. Spit in the Mist. Asuka beats Bianca Belair at the grandest stage of them all. Frankie.
I got Bianca winning. I think Asuka. I like the Asuka. I like the idea, and but I still think they're riding high with Bianca Belair. I don't think they see Asuka as the one taking the belt from her. So I got Bianca.
I'm jumping on Frankie's ship on this one. I think she seems like the perfect person to be holding right now, right? And she's been getting major push. In regards of Asuka, it would be nice for her to kind of get that shine back because it seems like she's kind of been put off to the side, Sean. So I can see what, you know, and then of course, you know, who they inducted into the Hall of Fame. And that would be one way to win it. Like if she's going to win it, the miss would be to do it. I'm with you there, but I think Belair, she retains. She, you know, she's got, I think all the momentum's going her way right now, like with everything. So I think that's why she's keeping it.
I kind of think that the momentum is there regardless if she's a champion now. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah,
a lot of people don't need. I think Asuka needs the belt right now to build back up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, that
they
brought
her back
sense.
now with the mist and the, you know, they did her wrong before. They had her doing the laughing gimmick and all the crazy stuff. She needs to be badass Asuka, and they brought that back. So I'm hoping that wins out. And Bianca does not. She's a badass. She does not need the title to get over anymore. That might have been at the beginning, but now she can get herself over. And then we get to the main event of WrestleMania, the granddaddy of them all, the son of a plumber, Cody Rhodes. Or actually, no, I'm sorry. He'd be the son of a plumber, Cody Rhodes, taking on the tribal chief, Roman Reigns. This has been building since Cody got back. Then the injury kind of curtailed it a little bit. Then it all kicked back into action at the Royal Rumble. Cody Rhodes wins the Royal Rumble and automatically goes in and challenges Roman. And then that's where it's got us to now. So, all right, I'm just gonna throw this out there. Which one do you want to go first? Jump on it. Go ahead.
All right, I'll get it out of the way. So, obviously, a lot of emotions in this one. This is probably going to be the one for tomorrow night. Obviously, we know it's closing, but this is probably going to be the ones the fans are most emotionally attached to. I'm going to go off and just start with my prediction. Cody Rhodes wins. Where's the title? Finally ends this bloodline story. And I think if you think about it, it's the perfect person that Roman can drop it to because of the bloodline that his family has had in wrestling. And I think we're going to see Sami Zayn, KO holding up titles as well as Cody Rhodes. And that is going to kick off what Frankie was saying earlier, this whole triple team thing. And that's going to be the bloodline trying to get their title back and they can continue the story that way. And I think, you know, of course there might be some upset people in the bloodline, but they're a bloodline, right? So they're supposed to get back together. And I think that's a way for them to continue the story. Cody Rhodes holding up gold, which I think everyone wants to see right now. I think at this point, I mean, I know a lot of people like this Roman, but I'm sick of him holding the title. He's held it long enough. Give us what we want. Cody Rhodes wearing some gold.
I agree. I agree with Chad. I think Roman has been a great champion for so long, but if Cody can't beat him, who will? Like, there's just nobody more out there that could beat this guy. I mean, he's beating everybody. I honestly feel that Cody will win this fight, but he won't win it by himself. I have the feeling that Paul Heyman turns on Roman Reigns and jumps with Cody. The same way Paul Heyman was with Brock, he then went to Roman, and I think he goes to Cody. And I think that's the way Cody will look at it awkwardly and then be like, okay, let's work together. And then Paul Heyman will be with Cody.
All right, so let me get this right. In this WrestleMania, Frankie Fresco, bold prediction, Rey Mysterio turns heel.
And
Cody Rhodes closes WrestleMania turning heel?
No.
That would be the biggest heel move,
Wait,
right?
Hold on. Paul Heyman, just because Paul Heyman's with Cody does not mean that he becomes a heel. Yeah, I mean, we love Brock Lesnar when he was with Paul Heyman.
Yeah, but just cheated to win the title.
Yeah, but see, as a fan, what I can't see that is because Cody doesn't need the help on the mic. They give Paul to the people that need help on the mic, that have no mic skills. And Cody is one of the best. But I don't know.
But if you look at Paul has been having these one-on-ones with Cody in some of these Monday Night Raws, if you've noticed. So you could see them having that connection one with the other. And there's a lot of backstory between them too. And you seen where Paul Heyman has been kind of like, there's been little nuggets here and there where they say, hey, look, are you like turning on me? Like, I don't know if you saw they had a Hall of Fame commercial. Not a Hall of Fame commercial, Hollywood commercial of when they were like talking to Paul Heyman, and Paul Heyman was like,
funny.
Exactly. So look at all those little like nuggets that they're throwing out there. I don't see why they wouldn't go and take that bold move and be like, you know what? Maybe Cody isn't expecting it. Maybe he wins it. Paul Heyman helps him, and then Cody leaves WWE WrestleMania as the champion, but kind of like in doubt, like saying, what is going on here? Which would lead up to Monday night, where we would have Cody and Paul back on the ring, and then they could explain and see what happens. And then Cody, you know how he always does. He always likes to give those handshakes. So he throws out the handshake to Paul Heyman. Paul Heyman gives the handshake to Cody, and Cody accepts it, and they now are working together. Perfect story.
I like it, but I'm going with my story. Cody wins it. He gets help, but it's not from anybody that's currently on the roster. There's one name, and I keep looking, and maybe somebody on the chat board can help me. There's one name that I thought would be all over WrestleMania weekend with all these independent cards. And he's not on one of them. He's not on a single one of them. He's not signed, supposedly.
You're not talking about Jay White, are you?
No, I'm not talking about Jay White. I'm talking about somebody whose girlfriend wife is already in WWE. She'll be on night 2 of WrestleMania. I think he gets the help from the Long Island Iced Z, Zack Ryder. Matt Cardona returns and helps him. Not that he wants it, but to set up for his first feud after. Because on Monday night, Matt Cardona turns on Cody Rhodes, and then he gets his main event title shot. Because there's been little shots thrown. Cody was throwing a little shot where Zach was brought into AEW, and he kind of shunned Cody, saying, I'm not wearing the Nightmare Factory stuff. Matt Cardona did 2 shows. He teamed with Cody, and he teamed with Dustin, and he was never on AEW again. He's on no cards this week. No cards. He's like the king of the independents now, but nobody booked him for WrestleMania weekend.
And that would
it just seems odd to me. And again, far-fetched. Cody could beat Roman on his own in this, I believe, as a matter of fact, too. I'm just trying to figure out, because with what they did with Solo on Raw, who's Cody's next opponent after he beats Roman?
That's why I think they're gonna go with that 3. They're gonna put KO, Sammy, and Cody against Solo and the Usos. And the Usos are still gonna be relevant because they're still gonna have their belts on there.
But in singles competition, who's gonna go for the title? Solo got beat by Cody. Solo's not ready.
Yeah,
So you told me from last Monday till WrestleMania, Solo got ready?
What about if Bobby comes out of nowhere?
No, I mean, that could be, but then Cody can't be in the 6-man because you end up pulling them out.
Cody can't create the fun line. It would be the fun line versus the blood line, maybe. They could do something like that.
Oh, my God. You know what? Hold on. Let me just – okay. All right. Yeah, I can control this show.
You know what, Sean? And there's always a surprise at WrestleMania, right? There's always someone that comes back, or like a couple years ago when the Hardy Boys came back, and there's always somebody. So that, as far-fetched as it might be, you might be onto something, because kind of like what Cody did, this guy left and kind of built up his name again, and probably deserves another shot. And fans would probably, like it, and it would be definitely something they don't expect, I think. So yeah. It's far-fetched, but
there's been talk that Jay White will be there as well, but I just don't think Jay White does anything with the Cody storyline. If anything, I wouldn't be surprised maybe Lashley's opponent is Jay White.
Oh, that could be.
If they want, again, I don't know. I don't know what they do, because apparently, again, but everybody. I hate when they're like, oh, so-and-so's in LA. Everybody's in LA.
That's true.
Every wrestler that's worth the salt is in, unless they're injured or something like that. But everybody's in LA. So it doesn't matter that, oh, I snapped. Like people are posting a picture because FTR met up against the Impact champions. They walked by each other. So it's FTR. Dax actually posted it. It's FTR because, again, their contracts are supposedly ending. They're going to probably lose to the Guns and leave AEW. So now they show the Impact titles with them. You had Hobbs with Big E taking pictures.
Was, yeah.
You had Swerve join at WrestleMania. It was Swerve went back on stage with Top Dollar. What's the group? Oh my goodness, I'm drawing a blank. Top Dollar, Shante, Fab B. What's the group name? I can't think of the name now. Wow, it's so bad. But they went back out and performed there. I mean, you got so much going on. And then also, because I almost forgot, to answer the Super Chat night, will there be do you see a new world title on Monday? I say yes. The Nightmare title will be unveiled on Monday night.
Yeah, I agree.
Frankie,
I agree, but I'm curious. I wonder what Cody Rhodes' intro is going to be like. It would be really cool if he has his brother with him. And I
don't see that happening.
Yeah,
but I haven't heard anything.
Granddad, right?
Huh?
He just became a granddad.
Yeah, he did.
I don't think he
but also Knight, another super chat. Appreciate you.
You got to do your best big hole there. Come on, Sean.
No, because the one thing is this: hit row. Thank you, Boss B. Hit row. Hit row.
Such an iconic move.
Damn it. Knight. Another thing that he just kind of because Cody could win this match and then Randy Orton come out on Monday night. But everything I'm being told is Randy's not ready to return. Almost, but not ready. But again, that's what you say when the guy shows up the next night and drops an RKO to start a feud with Cody, because that could be Cody's first opponent, right?
I mean that's the thing. There's so many opponents that you could line up with Cody.
There's more opponents for Cody than there are with Roman.
Yeah.
But the problem, I think, is the prestige of the title is with Roman. Cody will have to build up that prestige again.
I don't think you have to build it up, because Roman has had the belt for so long. It'll be like, he finally conquered, this guy who has never lost for so long.
Every time the belt goes on a guy, and I hate to say this, on a smaller guy, it just, the people just go away from it, man. I don't know why. I don't know why, because in AEW, they're fine with, you know what I'm saying? But in WWE, for some reason, every time Eddie Guerrero got the title, business went down. You know, like for some reason, that's why they bring back Goldberg. That's why they bring back, you know, Brock Lesnar. They bring back all these guys for that reason. I just hope that, and again, I know Cody's charisma, I know his work ethic, I know everything there is there. I want him to hold on to the belt and make it mean something. I don't want him to take it off Roman and then drop the belt 2 months later.
Oh yeah, I hope they don't do
a
that.
Long run with that belt.
Yeah, I hope they don't do that.
Yeah, but I don't think they'll do that because I think they've done a great job so far with these storylines, man. And kind of going back to what Sean was saying earlier, like when things organically happen and they're being freer, like isn't that a testament to Triple H letting these guys be a little bit more of themselves?
Yeah, but here's the thing with that, Chad. The story's going to be realized tomorrow night.
That's true.
Where does Cody go from there? You're no longer, you know, the story's done. You've got the title now. Now where do you go? It's always easy when you're chasing it. It's when you get that title. And again, it doesn't just come down to Cody also. It does, like you said, it comes down to creative. It comes down to other things as well.
They could bring back that Seth Rollins feud again with Cody.
Yeah. Yeah, that's been brought up a few times as well during the interviews this weekend too. So definitely one. All right, guys. I know I've kept you guys a lot longer than I told you. Hey, we're only going to go an hour, guys. An hour and 40 minutes later. I kind of feel like the Big O now. Thank you. Appreciate you guys.
You know, before you let us go,
Frankie, I was going to say parting shots. Frankie, go ahead, buddy. Floor's yours.
I just want to give a shout out to obviously you, Sean, and Chad. Thank you guys for having me. The chat, I mean, you guys, Boss B, Knight, Cap, my brother, everybody who's been on there, I really, really appreciate it. I had fun, man. We could talk for hours. And you know, if you guys ever need anything, you guys are more than welcome to always hit me up. I have my Fresco music. That's literally what I go by on social media. If you guys don't know, I also DJ, so that's my DJ.
What? No way.
Yeah. It's funny because I was talking to Boss B and I was telling Boss B, I was like, yo, I'm in contract or trying to work with CCW to be their sound guy for their music, for all their production, because they don't have that really good production when it comes to their sound and their entrances and all that stuff. So I was talking to CCW about that and working with them. Hopefully that pans out. But yes, so once again, not to divert, thank you, Sean. If you need me, if you ever want me on, if you need me back every Wednesday, just let me know.
This might become a thing. This might be a thing. Although I ain't talking to AEW for more than 20 minutes, so that's gonna be written in the contract.
We could talk for life about this. I hope to see you guys at the AEW event. I will be there when it comes to FLA Live. I'll be on the 10? I'll be it's April the 26th.
No, I said you're one of the 10 that's going to be there.
I got floor seats on there, so I'm gonna try to be on TV. Me and my brother. So if you want to come check us out, we'll be out there. And if you guys want to always send me a message and want to meet up before or anything, hey, I'm always open. And again, with Boss, we go to a lot of the CCW events. So if you guys ever want to go to CCW, just quick ring, let me know. I'm always down. And thank you again, guys.
Awesome. Chad, you got anything to say?
No, I mean, I've worked with you before, Sean, so it was a pleasure meeting Frankie, and, you know, because always in the chats, of course, in the O Show and, you know, with the Squared Circle Digest. So pleasure being on with you. Awesome being able to talk wrestling. Good to see you again, Sean. I know I've been out for a little bit, but hopefully everyone will start to see me more. I've just been a little busy with some family things, but now things are, you know, starting to get underway with and taken care of with that, so I'll be available more hopefully. But yeah, man, I'm always down to talk some wrestling, talk sports, whatever fins up as we're, you know, as I see Frankie, you know, let's go. And I mean, tonight it's all about the youth, so let's hopefully the Canes get this dub too, man.
All right, I got a few things to go through here real quick. It's my empty list. All right, so just bear with me. No, I'm just kidding. I appreciate all of you in the chat. Frankie, I appreciate you joining. Chad, of course. Boss B, EWD Jr., my dad, of course, Knight. Let's see who else we got all the way up. I know Frankie already went through it, but Cap for Life. I got to do my own as well. Nicholas, of course. I think it's the first time I seen him in the chat board there. So Make sure you're with us. I think I'm gonna have to bring Frankie on here all the time. So I guess all these
You know,
people-
you want to know what's funny is that yesterday I was watching Ring of Honor and they had the press conference, and I was promoting the show because they had over 1,500 people on the chat
Yeah.
on YouTube. So I was like, "Hey guys, come check out the Square Circle," and I was putting like big old radio show, trying to get more people because I mean, the more we could grow this, it will be awesome, man. I love this.
Appreciate that, man. Ray Sosa, of course, and then now Frankie. I know you're at a special place. Can you send a shout out since your brother's listening? Is he in the other area too? Right? No, is he in the other room?
He's downstairs. I had to close the door
Oh.
because my parents are downstairs. So my mom, she does a great job in trying to annoy me when I'm like busy. And she started vacuuming, and I'm like, "Mom, like it's started. I'm starting the stream. Like, what are you doing?" So I had to close the door. And this only happens because I'm today's my mom's birthday, so that's why.
Why I was trying to get that. I was trying to.
Happy birthday,
Mom. Happy birthday, Mom.
I was like, look, it's not that I live with my parents. I live with my own.
I was never insinuating that. By the way. I was trying to give him the softball so he could hit the home run by saying, "Happy birthday, Mom," before we went off the air. But
well, shout out to my mom. I love my mom.
Instead, he goes into how annoying you are. I mean, my goodness.
But hey, man, it's been a blast. I was, I'm gonna tell you something, guys. Like I said a little bit earlier, I've been watching wrestling since I was 5. So my first wrestling event, my dad took me when I was 7, and that was back in Miami Arena. And it wasn't even a televised show. And I've been a wrestling fan for a long, long time. But just getting to know you guys and you guys are just like, you're more hardcore wrestlers than me. So like I try to keep up, but you guys are like intense, and I love that. I'm like, wow, I'm building a family with everybody and everybody in the chat as well, man.
My first show was Sunrise Musical Theater, Dusty Rhodes and Kevin Sullivan and the One Man Gang.
Wow.
First show I went to. And Kevin Sullivan was doing the demonic thing at that time where the devil possessed him in Purple Haze and all that. They drove there in a Winnebago.
Wow.
And that's what they changed in. They didn't get changed in the locker room. They changed in a Winnebago and went into the arena and then back. They didn't just dress. They did the whole angle. And it was I was hooked from there watching it.
I want to say my first wrestling show, man, I was probably like 4 or 5, and it was at the rodeo grounds. Like, wow. And I want to say at the time, my uncle was the manager of Animal because he was going back into like and that's how I got into wrestling. My uncle was managing him in these like, house shows and like rodeo shows, just all underground circuit. Animal, I think he was from let me see. Or he went by the Animal. But he was somebody that was like on, I think, at WWF at the time, and then got cut, and then he was just doing a whole bunch of other stuff. I gotta look it up and ask my uncle.
Because I was on those rodeo shows.
Oh yeah.
Well, which rodeo? Which rodeo?
I want to say it was the rodeo grounds, Bergeron, like in
Navy Rodeo Arena.
Yeah.
We did one of the biggest cards there with Dusty Rhodes, Terry Funk, Kevin Sullivan, and Abdul the Butcher in the main event.
When was that?
Oh wow, that was like 2004, 5,
okay,
6, somewhere around there. Because at that time we had, again, now looking back at it, you're like, damn, we had Christopher Daniels on the card. We had Mercury, and at the time he was with Joey Matthews and Joey Mercury. They were a tag team. Mercury went on to become, he went on to become Mercury Eminem with Morrison. Roderick Strong was on the card. Did a card with Adam Cole. Like when you look back at some of and you watch them grow, it's freaking amazing, man. And you see how much they deserve it. And Roderick Strong deserved it long before he got it. I'll tell you that much now. That dude deserved it long before.
I remember when I went to the Miami Arena event with my dad. We were running late, and the first fight that I saw, and this is me, because before, and I know we've been going on for a while, but back then, my dad didn't have any cable. So what my dad used to do is he used to go to a movie rental place, and I used to see like wrestling tapes there. And I would always tell my dad, can I rent this movie? And it'll be WrestleMania 1. It would be all SummerSlam, all these. And I would just put them on a cassette player, on one of those videotape players, and watch it with my sister. And this is how I started like learning about wrestling. And then that first time when I went to Miami Arena, I remember the first fight was Bob Backlund versus the Big Boss Man. And
Nice.
that was amazing. And my dad's favorite wrestler, one of his favorite wrestlers, was the Big Boss Man. So that was
That's
pretty
awesome. That's all. That's Bob Backlund's probably second run. Because Bob Backlund being injured is the reason Hulkamania started. Because it was supposed to be Bob Backlund against the Iron Sheik. Bob Backlund couldn't go, so Hulk Hogan took his spot, and Vince started Hulkamania from there. That never ended, never looked back. And by the way, Cap for Life said the Owls up 35-26, 3 minutes in the first half.
Yeah, I got it going on back here. That's why
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
All right, guys, I'm going to let you go. WrestleMania pre-show started at 6, so they're going, if you're going to that. FAU's playing. UM plays later. The Marlins are almost done. I don't even know if they're losing again or not, but hey, they might be in first place still. And also FC Cincinnati, the Inter Miami play. A lot of crap.
Everything's going. Man. Everything.
I've got my phone. I even brought my phone that I don't pay for, but I get Wi-Fi on it. It's got the apps, so I can break down and watch some other stuff. I got 3 phones going, my tablet, the big screen. It's WrestleMania, baby.
My phone died. I was like, no. I got to charge it as soon as we're off. But
oh, my goodness.
Go Owls.
All right. But hey, starting Wednesday, it might be the Sean Stanley and Frankie Fresco Squared Circle Digest.
No, and Chad.
Tune in. Well, Chad, I don't know, Chad, can you do during the week or are you more just the weekend, right?
I could try. It's kind of harder because I'm working late nights during the week. But we'll figure it out. Just let me know.
It may be Chad. It may be 3 of us. It may be 2 of us. But it may just be me. I don't know. Frankie might get mad at me by then. You never know.
We
find out. That's the teaser.
We need to break down what ends up happening, right?
That's true.
We need to break down WWE. Yes,
we're gonna see how wrong I was with a lot of my.
Be bad on Dynamite.
You're gonna be like Frank.
Tune in and find out. 20 minutes AEW talk. Until then, so long from the Sunshine State.